I am an Olympic diver. When I am on the platform, I am still. I clear my mind and focus on my breathing. There's only me and the water. Complete opposite from this sport. This is a warrior's game that pits the odds against you. It's bonkers. Unlike diving, I'm not trying to be perfect.
I'm just trying to survive.
I am Singapore diver Jonathan Chan, and I am game enough for Kabaddi. I used to play tag or catching when I was in primary school. You know, tag someone and run away. But I never thought I would ever play an adult version. Especially not 1 versus 7. This is an ancient sport that goes back millennia. But for me, I only discovered Kabaddi 2 weeks ago. This is Siva, one of the main guys driving the Kabaddi scene here.
So this is Kabaddi.
Yes, this is Kabaddi. It's a game that dates back about 5,000 years to the times of our Indian epic Mahabharata.
Legend has it that Kabaddi was created in remembrance of an Indian warrior, Abhimanyu, who managed to infiltrate his enemy's deadly 7-tiered defense formation. But once he made it in, he couldn't get out. In the end, he was trapped in the middle and defeated. So, inspired by his courage facing overwhelming odds, the sport Kabaddi was created. But Kabaddi players hope they fare better than Abhimanyu and escape from their opponents.
And since then, it's been played by the aristocracy class in India to train them as warriors and to train defensive strategies. And then it became, as time went by, a game of the people and a game of the land. So a lot of farming communities, agricultural communities in India started playing the sport, and it was really well spread across India. Today, it's being played across 30 nations in the world.
Siva and friends started the Kabaddi Association Central, or KAC Singapore, in 2019. The goal? To grow the sport here. And their efforts have paid off. For the first time ever, they're assembling a Singapore Kabaddi team to compete in the next Asian Games.
Can you tell me why they're actually holding hands?
Kabaddi in itself is actually a combination of 2 Tamil words called Kai Pidi, which literally translates to holding hands. So they hold hands in order to actually effectively execute their formations. So they have set formations that they do, and holding hands actually keeps them together on the court.
How do you actually play Kabaddi?
So Kabaddi has many rules. It's played on a court which measures 30 meters by 10 meters. It's played with 7 members in each team. Every possession, so to speak, one person from a team will move into the opponent's court and they will start raiding. So when the raid begins, the raider's objective is to touch as many players as he can, which will constitute 1 point each for every player that he touches. But those points only stick if the raider gets back to his own court within 30 seconds. So holding hands help their formation to tackle down the raider that comes in. The other way of getting another point is to touch the bonus line. And the special thing about this point though is that this will stay even if the raider doesn't make it back safely to his court within that 30 seconds.
Also, it's a secured point already.
It is a secured point.
Oh, nice. So then, how are these raiders stopped?
Why don't I just show you?
Okay.
The defenders can use a variety of techniques. They can hold any part of the body, including torso and limbs, to prevent the raider from getting back to his court. But you can't pull him by the shirt or pull him by the hair, which will be really painful.
So they just tackle him down fully instead?
Absolutely.
That doesn't sound any better.
It's a much safer landing, that I have to give it to you.
Okay. So is it I just tag him and I'll just run back past that line? Is that how it works?
Yes, but we will do everything we can to stop you. Something like this.
Is that all?
Yes, but one more thing. you'll have to say the word kabaddi repeatedly for the entire 30 seconds that you're reading. Something like this.
Kabaddi, 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 kabaddi.
Non-stop, just like that.
Absolutely.
Okay, so then what happens if you stop saying kabaddi halfway?
Well, then you'll be considered out and your raid will be over and the next team will get a chance to raid again.
A game of kabaddi is played over 2 rounds of 20 minutes each. The team with the most points at the end of the whole 40-minute game wins.
Kabaddi, 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 kabaddi. And the most unexpected part was definitely getting tackled by 3 people at once. All I was feeling was the physical bumps and hits that I was getting. Kabaddi, 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 kabaddi. So it was more of like hit, and then oh, I'm on the ground. I guess I lost a point. How come it seems like no one else in Singapore really knows the sport though?
Over the last 20 years, it's mostly been played amongst the Indian community in itself, which is why we felt that it was something that we needed to bring in mainstream. So that's when we started in 2014, the first ever secondary school competition for Singapore students.
Since 2014, it has been about 7 installments of the secondary school kabaddi competition, and now we have players from all other ethnic groups as well. We have Malay players, we have Chinese players. In fact, one of our best player in the Singapore team was a Chinese boy. So it's not just the Indian ethnic game, you know, it's now a national game.
We will actually train you over the next few weeks and we'll try you out in an actual competitive match.
We will put in a tough competition for you. Some of the opponent team members will be the best in the region.
Best in the region?
Yes, so you better train up well.
I'll try my best. So even though I'm new to the sport, I would say I can be pretty competitive. Siva actually linked me up with the Kabaddi coach, Khalid. He actually asked me to join their training session today, so that's where I'm headed to now.
Switch.
Hi coach.
Hey, hi John.
So coach, what are we going to be doing here today?
We'll be doing training and there will be some technical drills. So we'll be doing with a bunch of students who are from secondary schools.
Ah, secondary school.
Yeah, they are around 14 to 15 years old.
So young.
Yeah.
Oh boy, looks like I'm gonna get trashed by some 15-year-olds. I'm Jonathan Chan, Singapore's first Olympic diver. But today, I'm like a fish out of water, learning an ancient Indian sport, Kabaddi, with some of the youth players.
Okay guys, it has been a long time since we had our training. So we'll start back with our fitness training first. Push-up positions. Down. Down.
Push-ups,
Up.
crunches, shuttle runs. All pretty standard so far until this.
Okay guys, we'll be doing a chanting exercise and you all will be moving to the sway. As in you all are in a read. So you all will be doing it together for 30 seconds. Okay? Let's start. Close the circle. Louder, louder.
Kabaddi is surprisingly tiring because you're expending your energy by chanting while moving.
3, 2, 1, stop. So what we're going to learn today is ankle hold and thigh hold. Go in, then you will
In
grab
Kabaddi, the defending team has to prevent the raider from returning to his side of the court. That means any legal body part is up for grabs, literally.
So is Kabaddi actually a CCA for you guys?
No, Because right now in my school, they don't exactly consider it as a CC because they think it's not safe.
Oh,
so
too
don't
violent.
Yeah, too violent.
It's not that violent, right?
Yeah, it's not violent when you're like,
If you know what to do.
yeah,
It can be violent.
yeah, got a lot of injuries also.
What are some examples of the injuries that you got?
Before COVID, we actually were playing every 2 weeks once.
Yeah.
Then I went for an ankle grab, and the guy was very buff.
Okay.
He struggled and threw his leg right in my face while
how?
nose break.
Then how? Then do you still dare to go for ankle grab now?
yeah. I mean, the first few times, I was not willing already.
Yeah.
But after that, I learned how to do it properly.
Okay.
Due to COVID-19 restrictions in the past 2 years, high-contact sports like basketball and rugby have been most affected. Some players in these sports have dropped out as a result. I wonder if Kabaddi had similar attrition.
So for these 2 years, some of them fell out. Most of them are together with us still. So those who are committed with us, they are the ones who are bringing us to the Asian Games.
So are you guys confident that you'll be able to form the team like at the standard for Asian Games?
Yes, if you ask me, because those who are playing with us for a long time, they are committed to the sport as well. Yeah, we'll choose the best of it.
For diving, being a low contact sport, we were actually allowed to train during the pandemic. But for them, seeing them come back even after stopping for 2 years, I respect that. Because after being away from a sport for so long, it's always harder to come back. Like having the habit of like training every week, it's quite nice to see their commitment to the sport and how much they love it.
Three days later, and it's time to meet my teammates for my upcoming match against our mysterious opponents. Most of my teammates will be going for the national trials in hopes of being selected for the Asian Games.
Hello.
Man.
Hey, it's you guys.
Yeah, bro.
You guys said I was going to meet my teammates. I didn't know it was you.
These were the guys who tackled me on the first day I encountered Kabaddi. Joshua, a 6-year veteran, and Dev, former captain of the Victoria School team. I wondered what kept them playing this relatively unknown sport.
Kabaddi as a new sport actually given me quite a lot of opportunities.
Okay.
So just before the COVID-19 shut everything down, we actually had the opportunity to go overseas to Malaysia.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, so we did some bilateral practices with JB. So that experience was actually pretty enriching.
Kabaddi, it's a very physical sport. There's a fear element. So when I go ahead and step inside the court, I'm overcoming this fear every time. And I feel it's a great way to grow.
Asian Games is actually quite a big competition. So how does it feel like going straight into like this kind of big competition?
As you are the first team to go to the international stage on a new sport, you're actually setting the stepping stone for the next generations to take part. So I think when we go overseas, we learn from other teams, we can take a lot back and give back to the sport. And then there's also the bit of patriotism. Proud to represent Singapore on the international stage.
Of course.
Our little red dot can do punches above the weight limit.
In the next few days, we actually have a match coming up. Do you know who we're actually playing against?
Yeah, man, we're gonna play against our teachers, They have been training us, now we're gonna go against them. And you can join us next time we train with them.
Please save me.
For the past 2 weeks, I've been hard at training for a whole new sport, Kabaddi. I have been told my opponents are insanely good players. And now I finally get to meet them. I was surprised to learn that Sundar is a migrant worker. Back in India, he is one of the top players in his region. And since coming here, he's been training the Singapore team.
What are you going to teach us today?
Today I teach you some cool movement.
Okay.
Let me change the dress. Then we see the field. So today I just show you some skills. Okay, but you just take a look.
Yeah.
Kabaddi, kabaddi.
The skill is this, what's called a lion jump. As a raider, jumping over players can help you to escape being caught.
Do try.
Acha.
Yeah.
Kabaddi.
Yeah. So the second skill is kick. Kabaddi, 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 kabaddi. So this one very easy, right, bro? So you can do. Easy one. Yeah?
I think it's quite interesting, but a bit harder than what I learned before. He made it look so easy, but for someone doing it for the first time, it's not easy at all. They're definitely on a different level.
Whoa. So how did all of you get so good at Kabaddi?
Because, bro, all people in India, when they age small, they start ready to play the Kabaddi. So every morning and evening we play. In my India, 14 years, I play the Kabaddi.
Wow.
Once I joined my college, I am the captain in my college.
Wow.
Yeah. My hope is need to make one Kabaddi national team in Singapore. So we also try to help the Singaporean Kabaddi team to go next level. If not the Kabaddi, I cannot meet so many people. I just working, go home, working, go home.
Oh,
you
wow.
see, here the Singapore logo, here I write, I love Kabaddi. Because I so much love Kabaddi. This is my life. Kabaddi, 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 Kabaddi.
This is one of the few times that I played with migrant workers because we usually don't have this kind of chance to interact. From what Sundar said, I think it really shows how Kabaddi is not just like a sport. They see it as a chance to forge friendships and not just like win medals.
So after 2 weeks of grabbing and grappling, dodging and diving, today is the big day. Me and the Singapore players versus the migrant workers team. Many of our opponents are like Sundar, regional players back in their home countries.
Okay guys, so we'll be facing the dormitory fellas, regional level in India. So for the Asian Games that's coming up, this will be the standard we are looking at. So can I get a win from y'all?
I think being able to play with someone at such high level is quite an honor for me, and also at the same time it's also intimidating because I have seen his skill.
We are playing a full game of 2 20-minute rounds. Each round, both teams will take turns to raid. In Kabaddi, it is common for players to pray for safety before the match begins. And we're gonna need it.
I think the biggest fear I have right now will probably be getting smashed against the mat because I don't know how violent they'll be, but they all look quite solid, so it can go either way.
3, 2, 1.
In the first few raids, my teammates kept getting caught. And we let a few of the other team's raiders slip through.
Hey, it's me, yeah.
It is my turn to salvage the situation. Or not.
When I meet them on the mat, I think I really can sort of feel the difference in experience. They know exactly what they're doing. I'm just trying like luck. So it can feel the difference in skill.
In my third raid, I finally managed to do a toe touch and scored my first point.
Just be faster. I feel you're holding back a little bit.
Okay.
Really, go crazy. Once you start flying, they'll fly away. Simple.
Use your diving skills.
Okay. 30 seconds is actually not a lot, but then after you come back from a raid or like after defending, you actually realize that you're panting a lot. So it's a lot tiring than it seems.
After a few more near misses, I finally secured another point for the team.
Away 30, home 22.
So how's my performance today, guys?
Your performance was absolutely amazing, man. You went there, jumped here, there, you confused the defense, and you ran out like a rat, bro.
Power.
Oh, bro.
How would that show your standard? What does that mean leading up to Asian Games?
As a team, as a single unit, we've all actually come together only quite recently. So I think this was a good test, a good evaluation of our skill level.
But you still lost right in the end of the game. But we didn't play to win, we played to learn. And I saw you guys try out different things. You grew so much, he grew so much. That's a successful team.
Yeah.
It's been a week since the final match, and I'm meeting Siva one final time.
Hey Siva.
Hey, hi John.
Good to
How
see
are
you. Good to see you.
Congratulations on your first game.
So after coming back from the Asian Games, what are the future plans for Kabaddi, especially in Singapore?
Well, internationally, we've got a lot of invitations coming up, like World Cup and so on. In the local realm, we are looking at getting the game more into schools. We want to make sure it's more formalized and get it into CCAs. That we want to break that misconception that Kabaddi is really an Indian sport and it's for Indians. And we want to make it so that everyone from all walks of life, regardless of race, can actually play this game and enjoy the valuable lessons that this game brings along.
My journey for Kabaddi ends here, but for them it's really just the beginning. I think the biggest takeaway over these past few weeks was that they really love the sport and they really want to bring the sport up in Singapore. Usually for sports, as it gets more and more competitive, it's very easy for you to lose the spark and the joy when you play. Seeing them still go to a higher international level while still loving the sport is really heartening to see, and having that whole kampong spirit of all the migrant workers coming together to help the Singapore team improve. Quite a nice warm fuzzy feeling.